Palace of Shadows by Ray Celestin. Read by Daniel Weyman and Mark Meadows. For Yanis and Petros. Part 1. Memoir. Samuel Etherstone. Chapter 1. It is said that all religions have in common a creation story, that they give meaning to the world by explaining how it came to be. But I am of the opinion that religion's defining feature is the apocalypse story, the account of how the world will end. For a universe that continues on eternally, adding ever more souls to creation, diminishes the worth of every soul. And so religions provide meaning by providing an end. They fix themselves to a future inferno, and from it build back the scaffold of their belief into the past. And so too it is with artists, who see a vision of some future object, reach into the darkness of time yet to come, and pull it back into the present, making their vision a reality in a creative process that likewise runs against the flow of time. It is on these matters that I dwell as I sit here, an old man, and embark on telling my story, wondering if it too runs against time. For though I am reaching into the past to recount events long since over, I am also that younger man of decades ago, reaching into the future through these words, pulling himself from the rubble of a dead century into the light of another. It makes it hard to know where to start this strange tale of mine. For not only does the story run both ways, it does so because its thread is tied to itself. The beginning and the end are one. But if there is a knot that marks the join, it's the day I first received the news that was to set in motion all the horror that followed. It happened thus. On a chill, foggy morning in the summer of 1899, I received a note from my agent, Douglas Carmichael, to meet him at the art market on Piccadilly on a matter of great importance. It was an unusual request, for in all the years Douglas had represented me, he had never sent me such an urgent note. I left my rooms and made my way down the Whitechapel Road, where I caught an omnibus into the West End. The fog had clasped the streets in an oily embrace, reducing visibility to arm's length. Heedful of the conditions, the driver kept the horses moving at a 4-beat gait until suddenly shouts arose from outside the carriage and the bus came to a juddering halt. "We might be some time, sirs," shouted the driver from up above. I looked around at my fellow passengers, a group of sombre businessmen, and we all descended to see what the hold-up was. An accident. Strewn across the great intersection of Shaftesbury Avenue and Piccadilly Circus were the remains of 2 carriages that had collided head-on and were now mangled into a single monstrous heap of metal, wood, and flesh. It looked as though a much larger 4-horse brougham had pummelled a 1-horse Victoria into the cobbles before toppling over onto its side. Further on, through the cauldron of mists, I could make out a clutch of policemen directing traffic. They had set their bull's-eye lamps along the roadway, but the light cut feebly through the fog. I heard a sound and realised the Victoria's horse was still alive, its hind legs trapped in the wreckage, too weak and injured to free itself. If I was feeling low already, the sight of this poor animal plunged me further into the abyss. Just then, a policeman approached through the gloom with a revolver in hand. He walked carefully towards the horse, traversing the black grease that had been deposited onto the road surface by the fog, and had certainly played a part in the accident. When he reached the horse, he lifted the gun to its head. In the moment before he fired, I thought I saw a look of fearful resignation in the horse's eyes. Then a loud report shattered the morning quiet, and the back of the horse's head opened up and showered the street with gore. The poor beast collapsed into the debris, and the bonfire scent of cordite drifted into the air. The policeman kept the gun raised, blood dripping off the muzzle, speckling his sleeve. Then he lowered his arm and
Sample complete. Ready to continue?